keep an eye on that. All right, we're back. It's your boy, Tomala Harris and Josh Biden. The undisputed Yeg podcast presidential ticket.
No, you're fucking 10 out of 10, Tommy. Don't even try. Don't even try to get away from that one.
What do you mean?
I called you 10 out of 10, Tommy, on fucking Saturday.
That's funny.
Yeah, and you were actually loving it. You laughed the hardest I've ever seen you laugh, and I don't think you remember it.
Well, Nathan texted the group and said, I thought he was rating me 10 out of 10, not calling me that.
Yeah, that's your new nickname.
Funny. I'd rather it not be that, but when you dig yourself a grave, you have to dig yourself out, I suppose. So
very true.
Yeah.
So, howdy ho, neighbor.
Yeah, welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Neighbor Rooney.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah,
it's we got some plumbing stuff we got to deal with, but other than that,
already?
Yeah, the toilet tank is disconnected from the toilet base in our second bathroom. Sorry, so I was in there taking a poop the other day, and I leaned back just ever so slightly, and there's a bunch of water that went on the floor. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh wow, how is that? How does it disconnect? Is it like?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but it's
totally broken.
There's like this much space between the tank and the base, and I think the water is just kind of getting between. Because obviously the tank flows into the base, etc. Yeah. So,
but it must be like cracked or something.
No, I think it just needs to be tightened down because there's literally like a space, like a big space. So,
but maybe it needs to be resealed. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. We got a plumber coming tomorrow, but other than that, I like the building. It's nice. Quiet street because there's nobody driving down it right now.
Yeah, no one can really cut through. I mean, there is construction during the day, which is. Whatever.
I'm on the other side of the building. Doesn't affect me.
I guess you don't. Do you not hear it at all?
Not really.
Oh, really? Hey.
Also haven't been here during the day yet, so.
Yeah. Well, Jeff and I usually, when they start early, we usually get woken up by it. It's like 7:30 they usually start. But it's not bad. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah, we definitely defied the no parking thing and put the U-Haul right out front because why not?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Right?
Yeah.
So that explains our little hiatus last week for our loyal listeners. Who were
kind of. Josh also had COVID for one day.
Josh was busy moving, and we were, just dealing with that. So, anyways.
Yeah. The one-day COVID?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I guess so. Because I felt like trash that one day. And I was like,
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. Is like, should you take I wonder what the ruling is on that in terms of like taking a one or like, let's say you wake up feeling not great, like whether it be cold or flu-like or just kind of gross. Like, do you wait a day or two? Like, obviously limit your contact, but
I mean,
right? Like
previously to this, I would have just been like, suck it off, bitch.
You know, it's funny. I've been thinking about that too, where it's because now the etiquette is almost. Oh, you have something? Stay home for 2 weeks.
You have a sniffle?
Yeah.
Stay home for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what school is going to be like?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what got me thinking about it because I'm like, fuck, man, how often did I look for reasons to stay home from school, right?
Kidding.
So if you kind of have that quick and easy out, and it's not like I'm saying kids should just go there and be a fucking cesspool, but... Or maybe I don't know. I'm not actually, sorry. We are both virologists with 7 PhDs. Everything we say is law.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a fucking weird one for school.
And then, there's so many symptoms too. So it's just like everything.
Well, and I specifically remember, Mrs. Levier, shout out Mrs. Levier. I think that was one of the grade 10 English teacher.
Okay.
She was in the back corner of that school. She was like quite mean, but I remember her like getting pissed off at someone, and she's like, "All right, because like 2 students came up to her one day and were like, hey, sorry I missed yesterday.
Yeah,
can you let me know what I missed?
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Like being pretty reasonable. About it. And they're like, she's like, you know what, guys, you need to stop staying home every time you have the case of the sniffles, right? And now the etiquette is completely opposite of that, where it's kind of made everyone sort of hypochondriacs where it's,
We
I
grew
feel it. But then you're like you may wake up feeling a little off one day and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do a little bit of a system check. Did I not get a good sleep? Am I maybe sick? Is this like I have allergies? Is this some allergies, right? Like, and then, we had, there was a year ago, we would have like a year ago when you woke up feeling a little sick, you would just kind of tough out. Or especially when it's like, if there's any kind of gathering or whatever, you would be like, oh, well, I want to go to this. So if you're feeling like 8.5 out of 10 even, you'd be like, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
right?
100%. We grew up in the tough generation. Everybody after us is the not tough generation.
We had it real hard in the 90s.
We did. There was actually some funny fucking picture I saw the other day. It was like, it was a kid wearing a mask, and his dad was like, hey, Timmy, that's not the mask we gave you to wear to school. And the kid's like, yeah, I traded it with Johnny, who traded his with
I did see that.
with Mary or some shit.
Yep.
And I was like, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, and then I also saw another one where it was like a meme someone shared where it was, same thing, or it's like, you don't have kids if you don't think your kids are going to like lick their hands and yell Corona and chase their friends around. Right? So
I didn't even think about that one. But yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's so
well, it's
weird.
also like, you know what? Making high school kids play by the rules would probably be easy enough. But what about, the young kids is going to be the hard one.
Is that how you like socialize young children now, though? Is like, you got to be apart from your friends and you got to, stay in your little fucking bubble boy outfit and...
Well, I've only listened to part of her, but Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she's a Joe Rogan regular.
I've listened to a couple. Yeah. She's done a few episodes for sure, but
yeah.
She's the one with heat shock proteins.
Maybe.
And sauna use.
But she's also very about like when you have little kids, you should like let them play in the dirt very literally just to build their immune system. So I wonder what her thoughts are on the school system, because you can't just let it run totally rampant. I do understand that, but how is there a point where the hyper sanitation could plausibly do harm to a society as well, right?
Probably. Every single time humans try to like impact on something, or they always fuck it up. So to be frank, also there's been, it's not even for the kids' protection, because there's been literally 0 kids under the age of 12 that have succumbed. Right. So it's like, so it's essentially for the protection of the parents.
Well, that's exactly it. Is
right?
Like the kid, there's very little health risk to the kid, and that's, I believe, the point is that
kids are little fucking cesspools too, though.
Yeah.
Like your kid goes to school, he gets sick, and then he comes home and makes mom and dad sick. Fucking tail of the tape. That happens all the time, right? So I don't know, man. It's like trying to stop this invisible thing. And one of our buddies made a very good point the other day. It's like, you can spread it when you're asymptomatic. So how the fuck do you even know? And then it's just.
Yeah. Well, that's, I guess, is the argument behind the whole mask thing, right? But then, I don't know. But then I keep seeing conflicting stuff of how much asymptomatic there is. Like some people say there's like a 60% asymptomatic, and some say it's very, very low.
I think nobody knows anything, and I
think that's the
guessing.
Best answer is what, like, and no one will say that of like.
Well, as an expert, your fucking identity is tied to knowing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, well, I definitely for sure know this. And then a week later, it's like, okay, I was wrong, but now I definitely for sure know this.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? That's a good point. So it's in one of Scott Adams' books. I don't remember which one. But he was talking about, this was also years and years ago, talking about expert opinions. I think it was with
It
a
is
doctor.
How to fail.
It is in that one, yeah. Because he had a weird speech pattern or something that he developed.
Yep.
And he went to a lot of different doctors to find it out. But he's basically, I think he says, he's like, when it comes to expert opinions, they're right on easy things, probably 90% of the time. And on hard things, maybe 50%, because they're really just making a highly educated guess.
100%.
And I didn't even think about that quote till literally just now, and I think that's kind of what we're in the midst of people trying to make decently educated guesses and being sort of wrong or sort of right or completely wrong or completely right, and then having to adjust course.
That's really funny because I'm actually listening to that book like via audio, Audible or whatever, and that chapter I just listened to like last week. So
interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, this is 100% for the times, spot on. Good job, Scott Adams.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that section until just now, but
I also didn't realize how many things he tried before landing on drawing a cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy with how he's followed such an unconventional path, right? I don't even remember, because he was in corporate America for the longest time. I don't remember.
He was in banking.
Yeah, what his other jobs were, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember his story of how he started the cartoon, but it's like it was very clever from a marketing perspective where, white collar work environment, like a lot of people can relate to that, right? Or even any kind of semi-office environment. And then he specifically made all the characters vague enough that you can assign people to them, right?
It was genius.
Oh, yeah. He's actually very, very brilliant with his marketing and whatnot. So
the funniest part about that whole thing is he was having an issue with his hand where he couldn't draw on paper. So the timing of how one of the first computers you could draw on came out, and Dilbert and everything, essentially the stars aligned, and he was able to make a career of it. Because he said if it happened 5 years earlier, he probably would have given up and had to have stopped cartooning, and that would have been it. So,
yeah, I guess that's maybe one of the lessons of that book, of the dumb timing of life, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I really like his book.
I wonder if his diet has changed though now.
Why?
He claims to be highly vegetarian, at least in that book, and I don't know if his diet has changed, or because obviously that's one of the things that I always question about somebody who wrote a book 10 years ago is, do you still like follow everything that you said in this book, or does it still apply to your life?
It's funny you say that, because I've kind of been thinking that as well too lately, especially where it's like books where like they were kind of some more, let's call them internet personalities who were really at their prime kind of 2014 through 2016. And at the time, because they speak so definitively in their books, that you're kind of like, oh, this is sort of it. But then 3, 4, 5 years later, you come back to it and they've largely changed their course of life or whatever. So kind of exactly that point of...
Or even in simpler terms, like reading somebody's blog, and like you said, from 2014, and then they have this 2018 contradictory article, It's, I mean, we always grow as people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think it's
it.
important, especially for knowledge or wisdom that is more general advice, is to be kind of pliable with it, right? Where, like, think of like the Ricky Bobby movie, where it's like, if you're not first, you're last, and he bases his whole life around that. Then his dad's like, that literally makes no sense, right?
You could be second, or third.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it's maybe there's a good motivational message in that thing of, if you're not first, you're last. Like, push for the highest, but at the same time, I mean, don't take it too literally.
I see where you're coming from, but I also think that you have to be that, that polar figure for people to actually listen to you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, you have to be in the margins, but not the hardcore extremes, right? Yeah. So you have to be just polarizing enough to get attention, but not too hardcore where you're like a very niche product, right? So I read this one book about that one time where this guy kind of drew this graph that showed where like, here's the boring middle.
Yeah.
You're going to be a
here's
public
the
figure.
Threshold.
Here's the threshold.
Sure.
And then once you cross this line, you're like AOC or Alex Jones, and you're just a little too far one way or the other, where people, like, some people will like you, but you're off-putting. Like, you have to be just fringe enough that people can relate.
Yeah.
But just contradictory enough that it gets attention too, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. Is like, so if you're listening to internet gurus for anything, they have to make definitive stances. So, you need to have that life advice be a little little fluid in a way too.
Yeah. I think you just have to stand on your laurels or whatever. But yeah, philosophically, it's an interesting topic to think about because it's like,
How so?
well, you have to be. Is anything definitively 100% all of the time true?
Right. Are you an objectivist or not? I guess.
Yeah.
Right, would be maybe the more
Yeah.
rude question there in a way.
Yeah. Objectivism.
Like there is a innate observable reality that is, yes or no, and it can be observed and measured, but it is always one thing, right? Versus subjectivism, so which is that things are kind of pliable. So just to what you said of, is this thing true 100% of the time? Is it like a definitive fact? And it more stems to like, kind of like even in like political philosophy of like, will markets always become X or Y? Like, is it kind of an law? Is something a law of nature, right? Gravity is objectivism in a way. That's not exactly the right philosophical word to use, but as an example, no matter, even if we were a different species with a different numbering system, we would still observe and quantify the same thing in roughly the same way, right? So
I had a tweet the other day that's very similar to that first or last, and it was a thought that came to my mind, and I just
it was your tweet?
It was my tweet, and I actually just wrote it down, and it was like, essentially you can be two things in life, and that is the ultimate you or lesser than. And I was like, interesting. I'll let you think about that one for a second. But it was like, and then the thought that stemmed from it was, every single time I do something, I should ask myself, is this getting me closer to that ultimate me, or is it getting me further away from that ultimate being? And I was like, maybe this is a way to live your life.
So in like a simpler, semi-cheesy word, kind of being the best version of yourself, is what you're saying? Intriguing.
Yeah. But you can never reach that ultimate you.
Yeah,
because that ultimate you is God or Allah or whatever.
Or the universe or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was a thought that just came to my mind when I was like, when you're just lying in bed sometimes and you're like,
Yeah. No, I definitely see where you're going. I even I don't know. I've been good at asking, and we've talked about this before, is like kind of keep asking why and keep unpacking things. And then it's like, well, why do you do this way? Well, maybe because your dad did it that way. And that's because his grandpa did it that way. And his great-grandpa did it
This is how to piss your parents off a lot, too, when you're like 5 years old. And you're like, but why? And then they're like, because of this. And then you'll be like, okay.
But why?
But why?
Yeah. Like the no face, the why face.
Yeah.
But on exactly that point of like, okay, you go back and kill the grandpa to make your friends stop being annoying or whatever, right? But
that was morbid.
Well, but the underlying point being, I don't know, just kind of like asking yourself why, and almost like self-therapizing in a way of like, why do I do this? And like, there's an inner voice there that like knows your best you, knows what you should be doing at any given time. And you it's funny how often, like literally everyone hears your little Jiminy Cricket, but you sort of half ignore it, or it's kind of like this elephant in the room with yourself, I find.
Your little Jiminy Cricket.
Well, that's the idea. What it is I guess, is it your conscious? Is it your devil or an angel on your shoulder? Is it just your inner spirituality, Scientology-ness? You know what I mean?
Scientology's interesting.
Like whatever you want to call it is my point.
Yeah.
Like everyone has that voice. Yeah, some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wars have been fought about who that voice is.
I was about to say, like, is that voice you? Is it God? Is it the universe? Either way. Point being, like, everyone has their... Yeah, you, like, at any given point, you know what you should be doing, what you should be doing better. Like, you know it. You kind of feel it. There's that little voice there that knows the real answer.
Yeah.
And like, you kind of just ignore it, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's really just, it's very simple but hard to like listen to it.
Yeah.
Truly.
And on days when you are doing the things that voice says that you should be doing, those are good days.
Mm-hmm.
And the days where you don't do the things that your voice says, shit, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
Those
you're
days
kind of,
fucking blow.
yeah. And you're like, you're really just hiding from and cheating yourself is what it comes down to. Right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of this weird trying to hide from that part of your mind in a way of like that knows you shouldn't eat 3 Big Macs a day or whatever, but maybe you're, I don't know, don't want to cook that day or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When we were moving, that obviously there's nothing you can cook with, right? So it's like fucking McDonald's for breakfast, pizza for dinner.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. That's what you kind of got to do, right?
Yeah.
So.
And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, you fucking guy.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes those weekends happen or whatever, right? Or like, especially moving. I mean, moving, you're kind of like, the rules go out the window a little bit. So
yeah, my fucking back is seized up.
Yeah. Even still, pretty.
Oh
sore?
yes, even still. I like got out of bed this morning. I'm like, am I 85 years old?
Do you have a bit of a mobility routine and stuff for your?
I do, except when I'm moving.
Yeah, obviously you're not gonna wake up early and do that.
Yeah.
Have you do you have one that was specific to you, or do you just do kind of general back?
Well, even
stretches.
I guess since from being a goalie, like back in the day, I always just like started my day off by stretching, and I almost had to because my hips are tight as shit. So like to have a good day, I have to open those bitches up.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I just kind of do my own thing every morning, and I have like a yogic, in quotation marks, routine that I go through. Yeah,
cool. I actually had a good 10-minute mobility routine that was it was more or less full body, and it was like half yoga, half active stretching sort of thing. I need to get back into it. My biggest problem with, and this is a full-on excuse, but since the gym has closed, or not closed, has reduced to their time slots or whatever,
1 hour.
my stretching has just gone downhill because I'm like, oh, I don't have that much time. Need to pump.
Yeah,
must lift things up and put them down.
Yeah, but I mean, stretching can be done in the fucking park or anywhere, right? So
yeah, that's the thing. It's just making the time to do it.
Yeah,
right. So it's hard to do it at home, and you're always like at the gym. Oh, I'll for sure stretch when I get home while I'm, watching a show or whatever. Yeah. Never happens.
I got to take a leak right now. Otherwise, I'm going to make your fucking tan couch not tan.
Be like Uncle Leo when he pees on the couch.
What was I saying? McEwen alumni.
McEwen alumni.
Trash. Throw it in the trash. You ever get those?
The emails sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like a newsletter, though.
Yeah. It's like,
not that I ever open them, but
knew
it's like whatever.
McEwen. Trash. Throw it in the trash. What were we talking about previously, though? We were talking about working out,
sleeping, and hangovers.
What was it? I was going to say about the food thing, because you said eating the food after getting drunk, too late. That's for tomorrow. That's what you like. That's for tomorrow. You know, that food's for tomorrow.
Yeah.
The stuff that you got to have the full stomach going into it, otherwise you're fucked.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's a very good point.
Yeah, because I've fucking donairs after. That's what donairs are for.
Actually, I think you probably feel best if you do a before and after eating.
Yes.
For
100.
Just food in your stomach to kind of process it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, dude, even like after some weekends where it's like go out for dinner, have drinks, maybe do a pizza or something Sunday because you're a little hungover, and then Monday you're like, oh man, what's wrong with me? I don't feel so good.
I wonder.
And then you think to yourself, oh, wait a minute. I was just human garbage for a few days.
2 days straight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It'll catch up with you.
Yeah. That's the thing is that we're closer to 30 than 20 now, right?
Well, that's exactly it. So it is definitely harder on the old body for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
I have a question though. Would it be as hard on the body if we weren't doing it from age 18 and we started at 27? You ever thought about that?
Interesting.
Like if you just were like in a 10-year relationship from 17 to 27, you're like, oh, I've missed so much of my life. I'm going to go to the bar now. I can't. But I mean, I'm going to go get fucking wasted all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you be starting from square one?
Huh.
Or
Interesting.
is it just because as you age, your organs are like, I don't like this poison so much anymore?
Right. So, because some would probably make the argument that you build up kind of a tolerance or whatever, where your body gets to a degree used to it.
Yeah.
But
I ER one friend this weekend who's definitely out of practice. And I'm speaking about myself.
yeah, no, I think there's definitely I think there's a level of both to it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're someone who like doesn't really drink, you can have like 2 beers and have it catch a decent buzz for sure. But I think, I don't know, that's an interesting experiment. It would be hard to definitively tell. I honestly think it is because as your body ages, it just can't process as much shit, whatever that may be.
That's probably true.
Especially because as you get older and older, like healthy eating, vitamins, etc., gets
more and more
exponentially more important, right? So
yeah, I mean, your recovery's worse at 27 than it was at 22, I guess, too.
Yeah, and I'm sure 32 and 37 and so on and so forth, it gets worse and worse, right? So
yeah, even just like thinking about like little injuries and stuff like that would just heal overnight at 20. Now take like a month.
Oh, 100%. Dude, that was even my thing with like getting, because I bought a longboard, a skateboard, like cruiser, like it's an old school skateboard, so it's kind of half longboard, half skateboard.
The surfboard of the streets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a sidewalk surfer kind of thing. Yeah. Pretty fun, but that was kind of my thing. I'm like, oh man, like I'm not doing the tricks or anything anymore because it's like a sprained ankle or broken ankle at this age. Like that's just going to be, well, it'll take a while to heal. And it's also a huge pain in the ass just to deal with. Do I want to be wearing a boot around for no real good reason and have to deal with that for work and everything? Like that's... Yeah.
I think your 20s are, if you avoid injuries in your 20s, you're pretty good. I fucked up. But
oh man.
But I mean, because if you avoid them in your 20s, you'll be good.
Dude, I almost just said, yeah, I guess neither of us had it. But I'm thinking like, well, normal broken bones of like arms and legs.
Yeah. No.
So.
Yeah. Although if I did it now, I don't know if I would have recovered as well. So that's probably the thing. The old backaroony. Yeah. So,
well, oh no, there's definitely something to being younger. You were what, 20?
20.
When that happened?
Yeah.
Your body definitely has a lot more spring back and elasticity.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Age is a huge... Well, I mean, you fucking break a hip at 80, you're probably going to die. Mm-hmm. You know? So...
Were we talking about that? But there are doctors who say like a broken hip or bone at, 80 plus is basically a death sentence because like your body can't really handle the surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Hopefully all the anti-aging Joe Rogan stuff comes a long way by the time we're that age so we can
just the Neuralink, bro.
Mitigate it.
You watched the most recent one?
No.
They put it in pigs. And
shit.
And then they can like track when the pigs were like tasting and sniffing things. So there's like some like they like recorded the brain signals. Yeah, and it can read the activity.
Like make sense of it, I guess.
But I mean, I don't know if they can make sense of it. It just sounded like there was like beep boops. But yeah, they did a live stream on Friday, I want to say. It was pretty interesting, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm a skeptic, but I'm also not a skeptic. It's kind of a weird position to be. There's like, I don't know if you could fucking write into the brain. Also, this technology is not new. Like, this technology has been out since the fucking 90s. We knew that we could control artificial limbs with brain waves since like, 25 years ago.
Right.
We knew that. So I wonder if it's just another case of Elon. And don't get me wrong, Elon's fucking, I think the fourth or fifth richest person in the world now. Elon's got a good thing going, but Elon's also king of hype.
Oh, yeah.
King of hype. If anybody is king of hype, it's Elon. 100%.
Right.
And taking technology and packaging it in a pretty exterior.
Yeah.
He wins that hands down.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
He does do a good job of that, of kind of the marketing and
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Tesla truck.
Bro, Tesla's worth more than Walmart now.
What? Okay, that I don't know.
Does that blow your mind?
Yeah, well, it shows you the stock market is kind of like whatever. It's not like
What's the Matthew McConaughey Fugazi? It's all fairy dust, bro.
Yeah, Fugazi.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. It's all feelings, you know. It's like
Fugazi.
I feel
it's a woozy.
Exactly. It's a I can't whistle. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fairy dust.
I think yeah, exactly. I believe that's a term to describe a fake painting. Is the origin of that.
Yeah, but man, no company exemplifies that more than Tesla.
Well, even I was listening to something that, I mean, it made so much sense because it was said simply because, it's no secret the economy as a whole is kind of rough, especially for small and medium-sized businesses right now and throughout probably the world, let alone North America.
Yeah.
But then the Dow is, crazy high, but it's because all the indicators use the largest companies, and all the largest companies are doing really,
amazing
really well
right now. Yeah. Fucking Bezos is worth $200 billion.
Honestly, man, not to be part of the communist horde knocking at the door.
Yeah.
I don't even fully oppose Bernie's proposed tax of all the wealth gained during the pandemic because it's kind of ridiculously,
one-sided.
especially because Jeff Bezos planned the whole
one-sided.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing. I see, this is a very interesting scenario to be in because it's any single time you're corporatism isn't capitalism, you have both sides being you're a fucking, either you're a communist or you're a runaway capitalist. Mm-hmm. Also, just a tangent here for a second. Jay Dudge just hit me up on Instagram. How do you like those Rode mics? We'll answer that question on air.
You have to listen. These are really good, actually. Definitely.
Okay.
This is
the pod mic.
Yeah, the Rode pod mic. I think it's $150 or so it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And the quality is good. It's a decent bit better quality than the mics we use at the office.
Yeah.
And I believe it's a dynamic mic, which is what you have as well there.
Yeah, I'm using the fucking Shure SM58, which is a fucking vocal mic for concerts and shit
and stuff, but still.
Yeah.
But no, really good mic, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just replied with he answered it on the air for you. You have to listen to the whole fucking episode.
Suck it, Jackson. So,
but anyway,
back to quite heavy, but they're a really solid build. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this. I bought this for my real estate videos because I did actually want to buy the Shure Joe Rogan mic.
Yeah.
But they are sold out in Canada because everyone's starting their quarantine podcast.
Yeah.
But this was a good alternative. It looks cool. It looks like a podcast mic.
Yeah. Back to what we were talking about, though, previously, was the whole
capitalist.
Yeah, runaway
markets.
Yeah, and that's
corporatism versus real capitalism.
Yeah, and there's differences. There's winner take all capitalism, and it's is that how it should be, or is it should be mom and pop shops can thrive, and sole proprietors and small business, and and I mean, arguably, that's the right direction to go. If you want to be a fucking entrepreneur, you can be. If you want to work for a small business, which is generally the biggest employer in most countries, is small business.
Right, as a whole.
But yeah, I always run into that criticism. It's oh, you're a fucking commie if you're corporatism isn't real capitalism. It's well, it's
but
it's
it
not
really isn't, because the problem with our system is we have capitalism up until until it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
And then they switch to
socialism.
statism, socialism, communism.
Yeah.
Easiest example is the 2008 bailout.
Yeah.
And basically anything where whenever the government underwrites an industry, it becomes a runaway train. And that's why there's AIDS drugs that are $10,000 a pill or whatever.
Yep.
It's because the government will underwrite. It doesn't cost that much money to take a pill packer and the ingredients and stuff them together, right? So it's because the government underwrites the industry, so you can just run away with it.
100%.
And the same thing happened with mortgages. It's arguably kind of happening again with some mortgage stuff, also just with the stock market as a whole with inflationary, yada, yada, yada.
Well, I mean,
stuff I don't even fully understand.
The Fed owns more stock than anybody else right now.
How does that work?
The United States Federal Reserve owns fucking stock in private companies. Well, not private, sorry, public companies. So the Federal Reserve is one of the largest investors in the entire world now, right? So they're invested in the U.S. stock market.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Well, part of the whole this whole whatever stimulus package, whatever it was, $2 trillion, a lot of there's contingencies on ownership of public stock and stuff, right? So,
really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like if this was real capitalism, there would be no bailouts. There would be no fucking $40,000 business grant per year. There would be no,
Yeah, and I mean I can be the first to admit that, like, because there's kind of in the more people who lean more capitalist will say, oh, well, there's never been a proper capitalist system out there to test if it really works, which sounds eerily like the communist people out there who say, well, there's never been a real communism out there that doesn't work. So perhaps it is a scenario that only exists in a lab sort of thing to a degree, but I don't know. But essentially what it comes down to is, like life's not fair, but it's kind of ridiculous that one guy doubled his billionaire net worth
in the course of 6 months.
All the all the main streets have to shut all their doors, and there's $1 million for lease signs and shit, right?
That is kind of the thing where it's like, fuck, like, okay, small business has to shut down, but
he can do whatever.
Fucking Walmart can do whatever they want, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But Amazon's so goddamn convenient, dude. Like I buy so much more shit on there than I did before this.
I know.
Goddamn.
Mics, bro. It's always the mics.
It's always the mics, man.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Oh, man. That's the story of podcasts.
I know. But that's like technology in general. It's like...
Yeah, it's kind of going to do something, I guess.
It's like we figured this shit out before, but now something's changed, and now it doesn't work anymore. But
yeah, now it doesn't like us. So I don't know.
We got it, though. This fucking wire. I think it's this wire, man. This wire I have had for too long. It's time to get a new cable.
Yeah. Oh, do I maybe have it's a little too late, but I might have a
USB?
Random XLR to USB cable somewhere in my drawer or closet of random technology.
That's okay. Let's give the people this rambling, incohesive podcast because it's gone from like here to like here to like here. To
yeah.
That's where I like it.
It disrupts the chi when it cuts out mid thing like that. So
yeah, and I take like 4 leaks during an episode. And
yeah, man, that is annoying.
Do you want me to get my pee bottle?
Well, no,
I will get my pee bottle.
You should, because I was thinking about this too. Because someone was telling me, they're like, "Oh, you do drink a lot of water," but I think I kind of overhydrate, if anything. And you probably do too, right?
Sometimes, or I used to. That's for sure.
Yeah,
definitely used to.
Yeah, definitely overdo it to a point where it's you would kind of have to reset your system a little bit. Like I'd think it's probably better to aim for 2.2 a day versus like 4 or whatever, right? Like I think
I'll go get my fucking Tropicana bottle for us, bro.
Yeah, I mean, well, it also needs to be like I've begun thinking of it more as like a sort of a discipline sort of thing of like just kind of controlling your mind and body sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I just think about Joe Rogan, how he sits there for like 2.5 hours drinking like coffee and beers and shit and never gets up to pee, like almost never.
But also probably used to it.
Well, that's the thing. But yeah,
done 1,600 episodes and drinks how much coffee and fucking booze.
It is impressive when you think about it, especially because I've seen the odd episode where he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and you're like, oh shit.
Those like Alex Jones 3-hour marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
The only ones that he does.
Yeah,
but
gives him the mic unprecedented, just in case.
Yeah, maybe no. You know what? He's wearing a catheter. Fuck you.
Maybe he has a contraption under there.
If I was making $100 million a fucking year or whatever it is, I would put a catheter in for every single show.
Couldn't you just have like more like a spaceman suit sort of thing?
Yeah, or a diaper. Yeah, you could just piss in yourself.
Like
I mean, yeah, I guess that's less invasive, but at the same time, I would do a catheter for $100 million a year for sure. I did it for free.
Exactly.
Boom. Those are fun. Don't recommend.
Yeah, aren't they a little hard to use?
Especially for dudes, man. You gotta like stick it up your pee hole.
Well, don't you have to like kind of like relax? Like you can't force yourself.
There's no relaxing when you're sticking something up your pee hole.
I guess not. Eh?
You can't breathe that out, dude. Sorry to tell you.
You can't just be like, okay, deep breaths.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on your levels here because now I'm paranoid about this because this thing is giving us grief today. Speaking of pissing,
Yep.
I saw this guy, this homeless dude the other day, just down here on the corner by the Tops Liquor and Convenience Store.
Yeah.
Because I parked there and I was going in to grab something. And there's this one homeless guy just standing on the corner
Yep.
with his pants swagged all the way down.
Nice.
Like, literally, like, Soulja Boy 07, like,
Nice.
like mid-thigh.
100.
I'm like, okay. And he's just standing there kind of yelling at the world. And, you know, I mean, frankly, it's midday. It's midday on White Ave, like, to be expected kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, hang on, I'm just checking my monitoring.
Yep.
Hang on. How's mine? Oh, yeah, we're good. Fuck's sakes. This is so annoying. It's nice to be audio only. I can cut all this down, make it a coherent conversation.
Yeah.
So he's standing on the corner with his pants swagged all the way down.
Yeah.
Yelling at the world. And I'm just kind of, it's White Ave during the daytime, so you just don't pay him any mind. You just kind of walk around him, right? So it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then I walk out of the store and I'm walking and then I like see this liquid on the ground and sidestep it because I'm like, what the fuck? And then I realize I'm like, I think that dude pissed on the ground while he was just standing here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went down his pant leg or just out the front because he had his pants pulled down, but I almost stepped in it. And I'm like, oh my God. So he was just standing on the corner professing to the world about who knows what.
Yeah, and pissing himself at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah. Fucking, if you want to see that all day, go to East Hastings Street in Vancouver.
Have you seen the new camp, Yehiwin or whatever, Akiwin? The new homeless camp across from Telus Field?
Is that what that is? Or is that a protest? I honestly don't know.
No, it is a homeless camp, and there's some level of like community outreach people there and stuff, and it has to do with because there was a homeless thing at the expo center that got shut down, so a lot of those people have relocated over there.
Gotcha. Okay. I
think there's a degree of protest to it because their argument is that it's native land or something like that, and that's why it's camp and Kiwan or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
But that being said, I have noticed since that opened, because we're on the south side of the river here, there's noticeably way less homeless people around on the south side. They've all kind of migrated over there. Yeah.
Huh. I had no idea. Also, do we even have a team in Edmonton that plays at Telus Field in regular times?
No. Oh, no. I think they still have the Edmonton Prospects, but that may have ended.
Fucking Trappers, bro. Bring back
back the Trappers. Dude, I think that was actually AAA. May have been AA.
I do know it was good baseball. At least I thought it was when I was 3 years old, so.
I can't remember watching the game because I was really not into baseball at all as a kid.
Yeah.
But I remember being there and the mascot and shit. But
I remember having, those Twizzlers that you like used to be able to tear apart?
Yep.
I remember I hit somebody with it at the game. I remember that.
Like swatted him with it or threw it at them?
No, like just hit him. Like whip
just for fun, or they were getting in your way or what?
I don't know. I was 3 years old. What the fuck am I supposed to know?
Yeah, they were actually like a pretty decent team, I believe, or like a decent level of play. Yeah, maybe nowadays, now that people are more, that was back when like Edmonton had like no cool things at all, and now people are a little more like downtown River Valley-ish. I bet it could probably go better, but no, they had the Edmonton Prospects for a while. They may be gone, but they were in it was like a Canadian college summer league, so they're technically club teams, but of college level players, but Canadian college. It's the leagues are really confusing or whatever.
So confusing.
Yeah, it's not quite like junior hockey or whatever.
Yeah.
Or well, that one's just a little more standardized, I guess. So
are teams playing again now, or are they not playing? Did they boycott everything or like
baseball?
No, like every sport.
Oh, I think. Well, there were hockey games on last night, so I think the week off is over.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were boycotting something.
Yeah, I think so. It was the NBA. I think they just all took a week off for that.
Oh, full week. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I believe that was last week. It happened now.
Gotcha. Fuck,
Yeah.
man. This is what happens when you don't have cable in a new home.
No idea what's going on.
No idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, well, even once the Oilers lost, because I don't really watch hockey. Like, I just had it on last night just for whatever, because I was kind of bored, wanted background noise. But I'm like, oh, man, like, I have literally no idea what's going on in hockey. Like, I had to Google the playoff brackets, see all what the series are at and stuff, and I don't think I retained any of it. So, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. Same with basketball. I have no idea what's going on.
No idea whatsoever.
I never do, unless the Raptors are good, because then everyone kind of hears about it, and you're like, oh, I guess the Raptors
I jumped
are
on
good.
the bandwagon last year for the playoffs or whatever.
I barely watched any games. I don't know. Yeah. Basketball just doesn't do it for me. I don't like to sit and watch sports too much. I can watch hockey when the Oilers play. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, Super Bowl. Namely because I just want to eat, like, 6,000 calories in one sitting, but pay a little bit of attention to the football, I guess.
Fair point.
Yeah. I usually watch the Grey Cup, I guess. Yeah.
With the Edmonton football team?
Yeah. Oh, man. Did you see? Well, I don't think they've decided on one yet.
No, I don't think they have either.
Yeah.
So
apparently the stats nationwide were about 50-50 for people's kind of yes or no about changing the name, which was quite interesting, right? Yeah.
What did the...
And I believe within the native community it was about a 50-50 split.
What do you call people that live in Nunavut?
Inuit.
Inuit. Okay,
Yeah.
What was the Inuit's opinion on it?
I believe it was a split thing as well. Because Eskimo is not inherently a derogatory term; it's that it became one, right? Because it's actually a word in I believe the Inuit language or one of the northern native languages. It means one who laces snowshoes, I believe is the translation. So basically calling a Inuit person who walks around in snowshoes, like in their language you call that, it roughly translates to Eskimo, like there's an accent on it or something.
Well, here's the thing. Is when the Edmonton Eskimos were winning, nobody cared. But when they started losing every season and sucking ass, now I get it. They're giving Eskimos a bad name.
Maybe the negative association.
That's 100%
I don't know.
what it is.
I think it's also because there was so much. Well, they've been making, even like South Park. When did South Park did the one making fun of the Washington Redskins like years ago, right? And I think Edmonton Eskimos always flew under the radar, right? Just because it was CFL. Sort of a halfway between. It's a CFL.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Americans don't know about it, right? So, yeah, I don't know. You know what? If it really bugs that, yeah, exactly. If it really bugs that many people, okay, go ahead and change it. Like, I'm not gonna vehemently defend it for like history's sake, but I see both sides of the argument, right? Where, yeah, it
affects me zero.
Yeah,
me too, I don't watch them regardless of what their name.
I don't watch them. I'm not a native person.
Yeah,
I don't really have a strong opinion on it either way.
No,
if you think it's good because it draws attention to your history, good. If you think it's an offensive term, I respect that too. Maybe we'll just make it easy and change it, right? But then the funniest was then because part of their branding was like One Empire, which is so painfully cheesy to start off with. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, but Empire brings thoughts of colonialism, which is bad, so we can't do that one. So I don't know what the front running is now, but yeah.
Edmonton eyesores.
The Edmonton tear down this dumpy old arenas. No, I mean, I think, but think about European soccer. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of teams, or even Edmonton FC, like, just there's like City Football Club, City Hockey Club in a lot of European leagues. Yeah. Maybe you can do that, I guess, right? Like just Washington Football Club, Edmonton Football Club. Sure.
I guess so.
Yeah. Who cares?
But then they'll get confused with soccer clubs, and then it'll be it's a fucking clusterfuck again.
Yeah, the European teams will show up here.
Yeah.
Canadian football teams will show up
there.
in Europe. wanting
Yeah,
to
they're
play
like, we're not even
Canadian
playing the same
football.
fucking sport.
Yeah. Yeah. It is weird that American football is called football when you think about it on like a global context.
Mhm.
Like obviously the viewership and stuff is much bigger, and America kind of still runs the world and definitely did for a very long time.
Mhm.
But there's no kicking involved. It does make a little more sense to call what we call soccer football. Like, where does soccer even come from?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't play it.
Everybody did, though.
Everyone played soccer a little bit as a kid.
I stopped playing when I started body checking people because I was playing hockey too, and I thought all sports included body checking.
Did you actually body check?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I was a little kid, like somewhere in the range of 8 to 11 years old, I'd guesstimate.
Yeah.
I learned how to deke in soccer and was like the first kid who knew how to deke.
Amazing.
And I would like score. Oh, God, hang on.
This guy's got
Hang on, I accidentally clicked something. Oh, no, we're still recording. We're good.
This guy's got an IQ of 170.
Who? Me?
You.
Oh, yeah.
First deker.
Yeah, but no, I literally figured it out, and it wasn't even that hard. It would be like I would be running one way and stop and just make a sharp turn and kick the ball the other way.
Yeah.
And the kids would be like tripping over their feet and shit, and I would score like 3 goals a game.
Shit.
It was sick.
Shit.
Yeah, I was a real prodigy. Should have stuck with that over hockey. Dude, I remember playing against my one friend on the other team, and I like deked his buddy so hard that his friend fell down, and he's like, "Thomas, you hurt my friend." I'm like, "Sorry, I'm so good."
One of my buddies in the neighborhood was always he was just a solid dude. And like you were playing against kids that weren't solid dudes. And like a kid would like try to run around him and he would just stand in the kid's way and the kid would just bounce off of him pretty much. And it was great. It was great. I remember those days.
Oh yeah, classic. I think I stopped playing soccer because I would always just play community league soccer. Like we didn't play enough along to really get to club levels because we were just playing kid stuff.
I was a really good goalie too when there was the little nets. You know, like the little nets and
doing
the big
like
ball?
butterfly.
Yeah, dude, no
goalie.
fucking yeah, seriously.
Dude, soccer goalie is the worst, especially at professional levels.
Yeah.
When it's like the free kicks, because you basically look like an idiot on national television.
Yeah, when you jump the wrong way.
Because you're just taking an educated guess of which way the guy's going to shoot.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's painfully funny when you misjudge and you dive so hard to the other side and the guy shoots at the other side. You look like an idiot.
I don't even. Yeah, goaltenders in soccer. I don't know. That one's a position one of my buddies did that. Like actually played. I think U of A too. I was like, I just don't get it. I don't know how you can do it.
It's a hard position, and you're kind of like playing. You're compared to goalies in other sports. You're just covering such a large net.
Yeah.
But you still sort of half play defense when you like kick it up and stuff too. But
So
you're also
weird.
so like. You're almost futile against the ball because it's such a big net, small ball, and you're wearing thick gloves.
Yep, that's pretty much it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird sport.
All sports are weird, man. It's like how
When you
do we
really think about
conceptualize
it,
this?
now we're just exactly. We're just all used to it. But if you think about it, especially if you're like, well, especially lots of Americans because they're so used to baseball, football, and hockey's more of the fringe sport up there.
Yeah.
Or down there. To a lot of Americans talk about hockey and they're like, I just can't get into it because it's weird to them. Like, oh, who thought of putting blades and a puck and a stick? And I'm like, when you do think about it, it makes more sense to just use your hands to carry a ball around.
Yeah.
That's a little more natural, I suppose, versus sticks and skeets. And
So weird.
Yeah, a little strange.
Yeah. I've never even thought about it that way. Humans, we're fucking weird, man.
Well, it's almost when you take a step back and think about anything, it's weird, right?
Yep.
If you think about it enough.
Yep. Fucking tables.
Tables, chairs.
Yep.
The conventional toilet.
Yep.
Modern toilets were actually invented by a watchmaker, which is why there's the argument that they're not ergonomically designed for like how your digestive system works.
They're meant for your wrist.
Aha. Eehee. Oohoo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is Josh a father? Dad jokes?
Oh yeah. Classic. Yeah, but anyways, when you really think about anything, it is
odd.
it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me read my random notes. By the way,
Sure.
I've been looking at my random thoughts I've jotted down over the week, not texting whoever you may be texting.
Nobody. I want to look like I have friends, but there's no camera.
Babe, I miss you so much. So another thought that crossed my mind, walking into convenience stores.
Okay.
Because I was walking into the convenience store the other day, realized I forgot my mask, which how many times have you done that? You're like walking the store, you're like, oh, fuck. So you have to turn around and go back and get it.
Yep.
But I'm walking up and the guy kind of sees me and he's like, points to his mask. I'm like, oh, my bad. Be right back. Go into my car, put on my bandana.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a bandana. And then it's like, oh, now you can come into the convenience store.
Amazing.
Yeah. Versus a year ago, it would be, there were literally signs that was like, no hat, no sunglasses, no face covering.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, isn't it funny how we've changed so much and that I'm not allowed into the store unless I'm wearing my
the
bandana.
demons are the people not wearing face coverings. I did that one time too. It was just to get a fucking air at Shell.
Yep.
And I walked in, didn't have my mask on. And he was like, sir, can you put on a mask? I was like, yeah, but can you just turn on the air thing? And he's like, okay, sounds good. And I just walked out of the store and turned and used the air hose.
I guess you could stand at the entrance and be like, turn on the air thing.
Yeah.
And
or we went to the
indoors.
Eco Center yesterday and they made people wear masks inside of the fucking, there's like a building there.
The enclosure?
Yeah.
Because, if you read the bylaw, it's like any building, indoor building, or that is mostly enclosed or something like that.
So I had to wear one inside that building.
Yeah.
And nobody had one on them. So I took off my shirt and wrapped it around my face.
Well, isn't that a funny thought of if you walk into a store and forget it, you can't just do this. I'm just pulling my T-shirt up over my nose and mouth. Yeah. I think they'd be like, you got to put a real one on, even if you're trying to walk around the grocery store like this.
Yeah.
But if I go home, cut up that same T-shirt and tie it to my face,
it's all good.
Now I can wear it around.
I said to the one lady that was working there, I was like, I'm so safe now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, again, I don't disagree with the principle, but when it's little, like, it just creates tedium, right? Like in little instances, and then perhaps you could argue, oh, well, if you let it go on little instances where it's like, oh, I'm just going in the store for one thing, it kind of escalates, and then people eventually aren't wearing it, I guess. I still think the wearing into the gym thing is
so funny.
Quite annoying.
Well, also the magical land of sitting down at a table to have breakfast or drink coffee and you don't have to wear one.
Yeah.
Magical.
I mean, it does make sense because if you're not walking around and the tables are far enough apart, according to the experts, expert-backed science, it probably won't spread to you. But then I guess there's the argument of circulated air systems, right?
Magical. So. Every single time I do it, it's like, it's magic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't disagree with it, especially in like a crowded spot. It's like, you know what? If it just makes it easy, cool, right? But yeah.
I'm nodding my head.
Yeah, it's something where I also... no, we've done a good job of not talking about this shit too much today.
Yeah.
But like, the conversation just circles back to pandemic masks, et cetera, et cetera. So often it's kind of just tiring.
It is.
It 100%. Really is. That's why I try to
I think it's because it's so novel.
Do our best to change the conversation a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's just because it's like a novel thing and nobody's ever done it before. So you like...
But at the same time, people have adjusted to stimulus, right?
Yeah.
And I knew it would kind of happen eventually because humans adjust to new stimulus. Mm-hmm. So eventually we've sort of come accustomed to this. Because I remember in like April, if you were like out of the house, even to go to the store, you felt kind of like bad. You're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like I shouldn't be here. It was kind of a weird, guilty, sketchy feeling,
Yeah.
right? But now it's like I'm out. I guess I can't go to the bars or concerts. I'm supposed to wear a mask to places.
Yeah.
You're just sort of used to it, right? Like we do adjust to new circumstances, right? So
We are frogs in a boiling pot of water.
that's it. That's exactly it, right? Well, it's how much you adjust to new stimulus. Like it's a dramatic, sharp incline in your reactions, and then it kind of tapers off. And you get back to a relatively normal baseline, more or less. So
Yeah.
well, I believe we're kind of back to our regularly scheduled programming now.
Yep. I don't
and,
plan on catching.
Well, I guess hopefully not have to take any more time off. Who knows? But
We live in the same building now, so
yeah,
you can come down to my unit and be like, "Where the fuck are you?"
yeah, exactly.
So
We may be slightly changing where we record, but no guarantees. But we might have a sweet new studio space sometime soon.
we may.
Or we might not.
We might not too.
All things in life are really a 50-50 chance of yes or no. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see what happens.
And then
there.
you throw maybe in there, and then it fucks everything up.
But is maybe not really just saying yes or no.
But maybe is sometimes yes and sometimes no. Yeah.
Maybe is
33%. No, I don't even know.
I don't know.
This is too much brain stimulation for me.
All right. Well, thanks. We hope you missed us, and we will we'll see you next week, and we'll be back to the old guest-a-roonies. And yeah, maybe I'll probably do 1 or 2 of just the boys episodes per month, and kind of go from there.
Absolutely.
10-hour live stream at 10,000 listens. We're almost there. So
Gee. 10 hours? Oh my God. We should just keep people coming like a rotating door in and out the
that's
building.
kind of what I was thinking.
Nice. I don't know if I'd be able to go 10 hours.
10 hours would be hard. Duncan Trussell and Joe Rogan just released a podcast today or yesterday where they did 5 hours, like 5.5. So I don't know. It would be tough. I think PewDiePie did a 10-hour live stream for something. I don't remember what it was. It was a 10-hour Minecraft live stream.
No goddamn way, man.
Well, it would literally be like, all right, I'm going to go eat lunch and take a dump. You guys just watch the Twitch stream here. So,
I mean, you have to be somewhat entertaining for that whole 10 hours.
well, that's exactly the thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm good for about 5 minutes.
we got about 45. Let the guest take on about half of that as well. And then we're good to go.
I have an idea. We'll talk about it off.
All right. Okay, peace out, everyone.
Peace.